welcome to the show. I am your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. Our story begins tonight with a very special guest, the beautiful and talented model, dancer, singer, and actress on the big and small screens, Kristina Anapau. Born in Hawaii, her dance background began at the age of 4 as a little ballerina, and she spent her youth studying classical ballet, music, and theater. And she graduated from high school at the young age of 15, and at that same year began her studies at the University of Hawaii. She is also a classically trained pianist and holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Skidmore College in New York with a major in performing arts and a minor in art history. But Kristina began her acting career at the age of 16 and fell in love with the camera by starring in a major film titled Escape from Atlantis. That is when she got bit by the acting bug. And after that movie, though, Kristina landed a recording contract with Hollywood Records and spent time recording an album and opening for Destiny's Child on MTV's TRL tour. But her true love and passion remained performing in film and television. So she would go on to star in Black Swan as Galena alongside Natalie Portman, as Brooke and Courage with Christina Ricci, and Cruel Intentions 3, among many others. Anapau also co-produced and starred in the paranormal thriller Five Souls to add to her huge filmography. And for television, her current role as Morella on HBO's hit series True Blood started in season 4 and is continuing to be a major character as a wonderful little light fairy. And her other TV appearances include shows such as CSI New York, Without a Trace, General Hospital, and many more, including a recent role in Anger Management with Charlie Sheen that was shot just last week and is coming out soon. And one thing about Kristina's roles are that the characters are very different and yet very mysterious, portraying strong women. And not only is she talented, but her beauty is known throughout the modeling world, having graced the cover of magazines. And it's no wonder that she was named one of the sexiest women in the world. And she lives a very healthy lifestyle and encourages others to do as well. And with that, she supports her favorite charity that I like called Stand Up to Cancer. And she has a very good cause and reason for it. Our musical guest tonight is Kristina Anapau with her song when she was in the 3Gs group singing Shut Up and Drive. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome, Kristina. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it is a complete honor and a pleasure, and I'm just smiling. I'm so happy to get the chance to talk to you. You've done so many great things and with your life, and you've helped so many people. So thank you for taking your time out today to come out here and talk with us. But how's your week been? How's your day been? Stuff like that. You're de-stressing, you're stressing, what's going on?
My week's been fantastic. What is it today, Wednesday? We're halfway through the week. It's been a good week. I've had some really nice meetings and been relaxing a little bit after I was filming a lot last week. So I'm sort of taking it easy this week and getting caught up on real life things, paying bills and things like that. But I'm having a great week. I've had some really cool meetings and some very cool happenings in the last couple of days. So
nice.
It's good. And today has been, I had run a meeting over at Paramount, an audition for a cool show, and that went well. And I think I'll probably go to the gym after we talk. It's not that exciting of a day, but a good one.
Whenever you get into the week and you ask, what day is it? That is a great week, because if you're counting days until the weekend, then you're like, oh my goodness, there's too much going on and I can't handle it. I'm ready for the weekend.
Absolutely.
So when you say, what day is it today? I was like, oh, that's a perfect week then.
Although I like to be really busy, so sometimes it's a very relaxing week, but at the same time, I do love those weeks where I can't quite catch my breath as well. So.
Well, you're constantly like that. I mean, just ever since you were just a little girl, you've been incredibly busy. It seems like you're so multi-talented. Like I was mentioning, being an actress, you started dancing at such a young age, and then you sing and you're instrumentalist, I believe. You study music in terms of don't you play an instrument or something?
I play piano,
That's
classical
it, the
piano.
piano. How did I forget that? I love the piano. I have a piano in my house. I can't believe I forgot that. um, but let's talk a little bit about how it all began with you, because you started studying at the age of 4 in a very difficult dance, which is ballet.
hmm
And you trained classical ballet, didn't you?
Yeah, I did classical ballet from age 4. Well, I mean, obviously at age 4, I didn't make the choice to start training in ballet. My parents put me in ballet, and I think with little kids, you sort of just, you put them in as many different activities as possible, and then you kind of see what they enjoy and what they gravitate toward. And I definitely gravitated toward ballet from a really early age. I was in ballet and gymnastics around that time, and about age I think 7 or 8, gymnastics kind of fell away, and I focused completely on ballet. So it's been wonderful. I think ballet gives you such discipline and focus, and body awareness and confidence. I think that there's a lot of people always say there's so many negative stigmas with girls growing up in the ballet world, and I mean there are some. You're very aware of staying thin, et cetera, but for the most part, I think everything that you gain from being involved in ballet at an early age is really positive, and I would encourage all parents to put their daughters in ballet and sons.
I have two kids. My son is 8, and my daughter's 3, going on 16. And we're looking to put her in ballet. But it's amazing. You're right. We try to put them in all kinds of stuff that they want to do. And I actually coach a little football, and he plays football. And I was telling him about the difficulty of dance and ballet, and what it takes as far as body tone and strength and grace and agility and balance and all that stuff. And he's like, "No way, are you serious?" I said, let's just try something. I tried to get him to do a ballet move, and he like fell over and everything. He was like, "Man, that is so hard." So I think it's great that and you can tell that in a person who studied that type of dance art is like you, for example. You're very graceful. Your poise, your structure, everything about you is graceful. Your limberness and all the stuff that you do, how you walk, you can tell that. Do you think that that's a core of who you are now from studying that for so long?
Absolutely, and I try to stay, go back to class as much as I can and try to stand up straight as much as I can in life. And I think that it definitely shapes your physical structure so much when you do something like that from such a young age. Your muscles develop, under that influence, basically. So I absolutely do, and I try to use it as much as possible, and try to encourage others to stand up straight as well.
Don't slouch. You had the graciousness of living in Hawaii. You were born in Hawaii, right? And then you lived there for a good bit of your childhood life. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. I lived there until I was 16.
How was that compared to like studying dance and stuff like that? Is that big in Hawaii?
No, not at all. I was lucky to have an amazing ballet teacher, Celeste Anderson State, and she was just phenomenal. And I still see her and take class from her when I go back home and visit my dad. But if she hadn't been there, I have no idea where I would be as far as my ballet training. She really, shaped the kind of dancer that I turned into dramatically. And I've yet to find another teacher, here in LA, or I've studied in New York. I've studied all over the place, and there's nobody that tops Celeste when it comes to teaching technique. So I was very, very lucky in that regard.
Now, you graduated high school. Not only are you physically gifted and talented, but you're incredibly smart as well. You graduated high school at the age of 15 and then went off to study at the University of Hawaii. How was that, graduating so young?
Well, at the time, I didn't think there was anything really that unique about it, I guess. I was feeling a bit suppressed in Hawaii in general, kind of for the same reason that, you're getting at with the ballet, is there's not as much opportunity, obviously, in the arts and the things that I was really interested in. And I was at the top of my game, so to speak, at a pretty young age there, and was very anxious to move to the mainland. And I thought, well, academia is the most direct route for me to do that. If I graduate early, then I'll get to go away to college, right? But so I graduated early that was pretty much my main emphasis for graduating early. And then I graduated at age 15, and of course my parents were like, you're not going anywhere, you're only 15, you're staying here. You can go to University of Hawaii, you know, at least for your first 2 years, or, there was some sort of deal like I could transfer after 2 years because I'd be 17, which is the normal age. You could go away to school. And so I, got very ambitious and said, well, I'm going to have my PhD by age 21 then. So
nice.
I got the course load at school and was very, very focused on my studies and was doing really well. And then at age 16, I've been at University of Hawaii for a year and a half. And at age 16, I got very, very unexpectedly got invited to audition for a movie that Universal was shooting on a different island than the one I was living on, the island of Oahu. Universal was shooting a movie called Escape from Atlantis, and I was invited to come audition for it, and I did. I'd never acted before, never wanted to be an actor. I thought actors were lazy, because growing up in the theater in ballet, I saw actors all the time in the theater, but I just thought, well, ballerinas look so hard, and actors just sit around and smoke cigarettes, It's like, so I really didn't have a very high opinion of actors, and definitely wasn't expecting to become one. So anyway, I auditioned for this role. I went back 4 or 5 times and ended up getting the lead role in the film, and it was a wonderful experience. I played the Princess of Atlantis and used some of my dance, my gracefulness and some athletic stuff in that movie. And I was addicted. I really enjoyed the whole process of filmmaking and of acting, and wanted to learn more, wanted to immerse myself in it, and announced to my parents that I was moving to LA as soon as the movie was done.
I bet that went over well.
Well, I actually went home one weekend. I flew back to the Big Island to start a ballet performance that I didn't want to miss. So I flew back to do that, and while I was there, I thought, well, perfect opportunity. I'll start packing up my room because as soon as the movie's over, I'm out of here. And so I, used every suitcase, I think, in the house, including my dad's old military duffel bag, a huge duffel bag, just, packing up my entire room. My parents walked in and asked what I was doing, of course. I said, well, I'm packing up because I'm out of here as soon as the movie's over. And there was a little bit of negotiation to be had, but for the most part, things went rather smoothly, and I got my way. And I moved to LA about a month or so after the movie was completed, and got a car and got all set up in LA, and I've pretty much been here ever since.
You are also a singer, and you had a recording contract with Hollywood Records. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. That was around age 20, 21, around there. I took a little break from acting and had some experience in the music industry. What happened is I had a voice coach that I was seeing on a pretty regular basis here while I was acting, age 19 and 20, somewhere around there. And I was, I've never liked singing in front of anyone. Like, I don't like karaoke. I don't like,
Really?
I was afraid to sing in front of anyone. But I would go to these voice classes, and I, would sing in front of him, and secretly I wanted to be a pop star. Even though I was having all this success in acting, I really just wanted to be a pop star, and that was it. But I didn't tell anybody, except for him. Finally, one day I said, look, his name's Roger Love, who's an amazing voice coach. I said, look, Roger, I want to be a pop star, so will you help me get a record deal? He was really well connected and whatnot, and so he just started introducing me to people, including the person who discovered Madonna, who was the head of Spire Records back in the day, this guy over at Warner Brothers. And within a week, I had met all these different people and was singing for people and, auditioning. And I auditioned for, he had some friends these music producers who were putting together a girl group, because it was the era of where girl groups and boy groups were very, very cool. It was like the Backstreet Boy era, you know. Now they're a bit cliche, but yeah. Then they were super cool. So anyway, I auditioned for them, and they sort of offered me the contract before any of the other people offered, because I had met so many people in such a short period of time. That, within 2 weeks, basically, I had met a whole bunch of people in the record industry, and they offered me a pretty cool contract. And it was, with 3 other girls originally, and then it became 2 other girls. Eventually, it was just 3 of us. It ended up being 3 of us when we started touring and recording. But we, recorded our album at Sony Music, like one of the state-of-the-art, most amazing music facilities ever. It was completely surreal. And our first live show was at the Greek Theater in LA. I mean, it's huge. It's the first time I sang in front of anyone except for the producers. It was in front of 50,000 people at the Greek, and I was fine with that because you're up on stage and you're performing. It wasn't the same as like singing face to face with somebody. So. And then we went on tour. We opened for Destiny's Child that summer, and it was a wonderful experience. I left the group because I was missing acting, and I was under the impression that I'd be able to sort of do both, and there was a bit more control being exerted over me than I had liked in the music industry. And while it was a great run, it was really obvious when it was time to transition back into acting. And by transition, I mean I secretly auditioned for General Hospital because I thought, well, if I get this, I'm just gonna quit and go, work on General Hospital, which is what happened. So I thought in my mind, like, there's ABC, General Hospital to ABC, and ABC owns Disney, and Disney owns Hollywood Records, and so it's really the same company. So they're not going to sue me because I'm really making money for the same company. So that was my 21-year-old rationale. And they did try to sue me, but they didn't succeed, and everything was fine. So I found someone to replace myself because I'm efficient like that, and they liked her enough to let me go without any further litigiousness. So it was a fun experience, though.
Okay, some of your films that you've done so many. I mean, if we just look at your list for all the different pieces that you played in, all the characters from films and TVs and everything, 2 of them that kind of stick out to me is just for films. One is The Black Swan, where you co-starred with Natalie Portman on it. You played this character titled Galena. How was it like doing that movie? Because it won amazing awards. It was such a great movie. How was it like being in that movie?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, obviously, when you embark on a movie, you don't know the awards it's going to win and how successful it's going to be. But obviously, seeing that it was Darren Aronofsky's next film and that Natalie Portman was in it, and Mila Kunis and Winona Ryder and Barbara Hershey, all these amazing, amazing actors and actresses. Right. I was very excited about it, and beyond that, it's sort of being a dance movie and ballet being something that I definitely chose acting over ballet at a certain point when I moved out here. When I first moved to LA, I was still sort of pursuing a career as a ballerina. I thought I was. I thought LA was a big city with lots of ballet because I didn't know any better. I was from Hawaii, but there's not much ballet in Hawaii at all. I mean, in Los Angeles, there's hardly any ballet in LA. There's probably more ballet in Hawaii than there is in LA. There's an element of kind of shattered dreams there. Like you really didn't finish pursuing that dream from my childhood, and so in preparing for Black Swan, even in preparing for it before it was about a month and a half between when I auditioned for it and when I found out I had the role. I decided to go to class every day. I thought, well, if I get the role, I'll be very happy I did this, and if I don't, I'll be in great shape.
Well,
and it's fun, and there's no choice. I had to do it because I got the role, and I hadn't done that, I would definitely be kicking myself and miserable in pain probably. So, it was just that whole process was very sort of cathartic, and everything came full circle, and it was very much a healing process as far as not having reached that goal of being a ballerina. And there was actually one moment in particular where it was about well, it was like a month and a half after I had auditioned, and I knew I was in the mix, but I still hadn't heard anything definitive, whether I got the role or not. And I was at a ballet class, and there was a guest instructor from England, from the Royal Ballet Academy. And I was getting pretty good, at this point. I was back in the game.
Nice.
But I was in a class with a bunch of professionals, really professional dancers who danced 8 hours a day for the last 10 years. And she would go around, and she was very tough on everybody, and she would stop and critique each person, and everybody would listen and try to apply that to, their own technique. And I was just praying that she wouldn't, come anywhere near me, of course. And she did. She came, she stopped right in front of me, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be the most mortifying experience of my life. And she said, she looked me up and down, and she says, my dear, I've been trying to find something wrong with you this entire time, and I still cannot find a thing. I was like, she didn't say anything like that, anything positive. And of course, I thought, oh, I'm just so bad. She's trying to say anything positive. But I left there, and I went out to my car, and I started crying. What have I done? I should have been a ballerina. I am really good at this. Maybe this is what I was supposed to do this whole time, and I haven't been doing it. And then I look up to my windshield, tears coming down my face, and I say, wait a second, I still can if I book Black Swan, right? And literally, like 3 hours later, I got the call that I booked the role in Black Swan. So that was a pretty cool day.
You've done some other really well movies. Like if you don't mind me just kind of blurting some of them out.
Sure.
Whichever ones you want to talk about. You were in Cursed, which I thought was a kind of a cool movie. With Kristina Ricci. You've done that was also directed by Wes Craven, which is an amazing director himself. You were in Cruel Intentions, which is a kind of a cool character as well. And you've done all these different characters like that. What is it that you see in terms of those characters?
You mean in terms of like the similarities, or?
Yeah, exactly. Because, and we will see this as I have a couple of other ones that I want to talk about in terms of TV wise. But I see that you play very different characters, and they're kind of mysterious, but they portray very strong women.
Yeah, I think that's happened more and more as I've gotten older too. I think back to Cursed, and Brooke was a pretty strong character, as strong as you can be when you're, the hot girl in high school, I guess. And from that point on, I think like the characters that I've been fortunate enough to be able to play have been very strong for the most part, and very sort of decisive. And I've definitely seen that in the last 2 or 3 years happening with the roles I've been getting. So, I'm hoping that's just because art imitates life, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe, maybe life is imitating art. It's just, who knows what came first. The first character I ever played was the Princess of Atlantis, and she was kind of this warrior princess. So that was at age 16. So maybe I've just imitated the characters I've played my whole life, and that's why I come across as a strong woman to people. I don't know.
And speaking of all the different characters, not only from your film discography, but all the way to TV, you've done some amazing work, including which you have a ton of fans for, which is True Blood.
Yeah.
I think you started there in season 4, and
I did.
And your continuing role through season 5, and I think the box set and stuff like that, or the CDs are starting to be released or has been released. You played this really interesting character, Marilla, on here, and I love the character because she has this thing about light, and that's where we kind of, like I said, I didn't want to talk about the spiritual part, but the religious part, but the spiritual part of light. And I've always believed that if you could wish somebody love and light, I think they'll have a much grander day. And and so you have this thing about light in your character, even though True Blood is a darker show. But I think the character is critical. Can we talk about True Blood and your work on that, and how you feel about the character and so forth?
Absolutely, yeah. Again, Morella is the thing, even the abilities that she has. I'm not saying that I have the ability to read minds and shoot balls of light out of my hands, but, the things that she can do are definitely sort of related to things I'm interested in, and kind of related to ways that I think that reality does operate, and some quantum physics stuff thrown in there and all of that. And so, she came along, the opportunity came along at a time where I was really delving into a lot of that stuff pretty strongly, and just being able to embody her and portray some of those things on screen was just such a there was no better job in the world, at that point, and which is how I feel with a lot of projects. That, when you're able to sort of delve into those things you're interested in, and the result is this really empowered, strong character that it's fun, and you get to do things that you can't do that in real life. You can't shoot balls of light at people, So, but yeah, there's definitely a kind of a spiritual quality to the show in general, I think, but especially to the fairy dimension, and I think that's a huge part to Alan Ball, because he has a lot of that sort of energy about him, and he believes, as far as the show is concerned, that fairies are aliens, and that sort of, he kind of endows the fairies with a lot of the qualities I think that he feels aliens would have as well. So,
right.
It's not just the whole, wings in the forest type of fairy. It's, these fairies have a lot of abilities and are sort of a little more of an advanced species, and are not necessarily all good either, So
exactly.
It's which is fits in with the show perfectly. I mean, that's sort of the theme of the show is, that paradox between dark and evil, between dark and light, constantly dark and light.
Right.
So it's been such a wonderful show to be a part of, and she's been such a wonderful character to be able to bring to life every day on set. So I have no complaints. True Blood's one of my favorite projects that I've worked on, without question.
Now, your character is supposed to be 500 years old. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You're
supposedly
a
I'm
beautiful 500-year-old woman, let me tell you.
Well, the fairies have methods of, making their appearance other than it might be.
There was also something funny about the character. Is she had like 80 different children or something at one point? Is that?
Well, apparently I've given birth 72 times.
Okay.
That's one of the lines was that each birth is multiple. I gave birth to 4 babies in the season finale, so 72. Let's just say every time was 4, right? 72 times 4. That's a lot of children out there.
It's so funny. The one that I saw with I think it was on the pool table. It was absolutely hilarious. I was like, oh my god, that is so funny. So I never really thought about fairies having babies like that, but I guess, hey, there you go. So, but
they have litters. That's what it is, having a litter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you have sorry, that got me all choked up thinking about that. That was so funny. Her character I think is absolutely amazing, and you have a huge fan. The show is just absolutely a massive hit, and when the seasons come out, everybody's like going, "Oh my God, True Blood starts in like 5 weeks. Oh my goodness, it starts in 4 weeks," and all. They do this massive countdown, and if you go to like conferences and like cons and stuff like that, they have a cosplay, and everybody plays different characters. And how do you feel with being on such a hit like that, on like True Blood is?
Well, it's a huge honor, and I really do feel like True Blood. We have the best fans in the world, the Trubies. The Trubies are the best out there, and so supportive. I've never had one negative experience with a Trubie. It's just been so incredibly supportive and positive, and I don't know what it is that creates such amazing fans of that show, but what it is about the show. I know I'm sure there's a lot of supernatural shows. There's a lot of shows that have big sort of cult followings like that. But I feel that True Blood has some of the best fans in the world, and I'm just really grateful to know some of them and to interact with some of them and have them supporting me, and to have been to be a part of that show. It's incredible.
How do you like the costumes in it?
Oh, they're fantastic.
I know.
They're fantastic. I especially, I loved all my costumes in season 5. I've loved everything I've worn on that show. Audrey Fisher is the costume designer of the show, and she's just magical. I mean, she's fantastic. The things that she comes up with are so incredible. She's an amazing eye, and all the costumes on the show, all the characters. Last season, all the Vampire Authority, those costumes are so amazing, so glamorous and sexy, and the costuming is fantastic on that show.
Do y'all ever get into like quarrels or quips about having who gets to wear what costume? Do you always say, "Oh no, that would look better on me. Oh no, I want to wear that. Why does she get to wear this? Why does he get to?" Because it seems like it'd be a hard choice unless they specifically said you must wear this. It seemed like y'all would kind of banter back and forth about, "Hey, can I wear that?" Or whatever else. So,
well, I'm sort of I'm the leader of the fairies. So I had a pretty strong storyline last season, so I think I sort of got to. Also, I was pregnant. Nobody else can wear my pregnancy clothes, So I got to wear whatever I wanted to, and I'm sure they do a pretty good job at separating people's stuff out so you don't see other things that you might be tempted by that are already being worn by someone else. There was one episode that was like that, and it was the first time that we were shown in the fairy nightclub at the beginning of season 5, and there was just so many extras and so many fairies and so many costumes, and they had this whole little fairyland costume shop that was separate from the normal costume shop. And I do remember going in there and kind of, what about that? What about that? And there were things that were not for me in there, and that was made clear. And but I loved what I ended up wearing. That's the thing too. Is they dress you your most flattering costumes and to look your best, no matter what sort of alterations it takes for the wardrobe. Okay. And then you just don't eat and work out a lot.
Well, you definitely look beautiful in those costumes. Now, do you think that the costume helps you with the character?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Especially when Morella was pregnant, that helped me tremendously. But of course, with everything, not just True Blood, but with every project, the costume definitely helps the character. And it's one of the worst things ever when you end up wearing something that somehow works against what you're trying to do with the character. And that rarely happens. I mean, rarely are there so many strong personalities that are working against what would be the best thing for the film. So I haven't really had that experience too much. And you learn as you get older, in this business and a little more seasoned, to really to realize that you're going to be wearing this for however many days. Sometimes you wear the same costume for a whole movie,
Right,
takes place in one day. And to really think about all that and really, exert your opinion and say what you like and what you don't like, and think about it in terms of you as the actor, because the costume designer, that's not really her job to think like that. So I think the more you can come with strong opinions, strong but tactful opinions, the better, and the happier everybody will be on set.
Nice. Now, also with some of your characters on TV, it's kind of the same question with film, and this may relate. There's kind of a trend with, or maybe it's just me that I noticed it, but talking about the supernatural and the otherworldly beings kind of a thing. You've done a paranormal thriller called Five Souls, and you've done different things. Do you like playing those types of roles?
I do. I seem to play a lot of them. And I think there's a big calling for it. I mean, I think people really enjoy seeing those types of movies, so that's why there's just a lot of projects that involve paranormal and supernatural phenomena out there. But I love playing those kind of roles. I mean, I think it's acting already, you're having to tap into your imagination so much and sort of create this imaginary world. And why not take that to the extreme, which is what you're allowed to do when there's any kind of paranormal or supernatural element to a scene or to a story or to a character.
I definitely think that you fit those roles well. I mean, you play them as an actress. I know you're acting, but you seem to really fit into the role, and that's why I was asking about that with the ones that you've done before. And up with and the paranormal ones.
I just feel recently I've felt a little more comfortable well, I don't know. I guess I feel comfortable doing almost anything, but it's almost in some way easier for me to do the supernatural and paranormal thing. I love really heightened stakes, high intensity scenes that involve supernatural elements. I think it's easier to act in those scenes than it is just to even have a normal, like a talking conversation sort of scene as a human being. It's a lot easier to be a weird creature, or to be running from a weird creature than to have a conversation over a cup of coffee.
Nice. Well, I can see that. I can agree with that, because you've played on some more serious kind of shows. You know, you've done Without a Trace and CSI New York. You were on Monk, and that guy's hilarious. You were on House. So you played some other serious roles, including General Hospital as well. But you're also doing this show, which is by one of the guys I really like. It's called Anger Management, and it has Charlie Sheen in it. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I just actually shot the show last week. I don't know yet if it will be a recurring or not. There's the character. There's a lot of potential for the character, and I had a great time there, and they seem to really like me. So, but I just had such an amazing time on that show, and Charlie Sheen is such a pleasure. I don't really follow pop culture gossip, I guess, that much. Like I hadn't even seen that much of the coverage of him when he supposedly had his breakdown or whatever a few years ago. I hadn't seen any of that till afterwards. Like, people kept commenting. I made a post on my Facebook that I had such a great time on the show, and people just like winning, who's this winning thing? Like, I didn't even know what the winning thing was, and so I looked it up. And it's, he's just such an amazing person. He's such an amazing human being and such an amazing person. He has an incredible work ethic, and he just shows up and does a fantastic job, and does it with such humor and grace and heart, and and I've heard that from almost everybody I've talked to about him, about the show. I think that artists are eccentric, and so it's hard when that eccentricity is watched by millions and millions of people. And the artists, we go through all sorts of different periods of expression. So as far as my experience on the show, it was fantastic. I just adored every aspect of it.
Can you talk about your character at all? I mean, I know you just shot it last week, so I don't want to spoil an alert or anything.
I probably shouldn't give it too much away. It's a really funny character in the episode. But yeah, I'm not sure when it's going to be airing. I don't know what their turnaround is. I'm assuming it's probably pretty quick on that show. So I would say in a couple of weeks it'll be on air, I would think.
Now, with other things, we were talking about you betraying strong women throughout all your characters, between the supernatural to the comedy to the movies and to the film. You've been labeled, and this is a great label, by the way, by so many different magazines as a model, as a very beautiful person, very extremely photogenic. But you've been labeled by Stuff Magazine with 103 sexiest women in the world, and Hollywood's most wanted 50th women to watch, and things like that. As a person who does acting but gets into the modeling scene, because you've graced the covers of a lot of magazines and on the inside covers as well. But how do you like that part of it? Do you like posing for cameras in terms of just the elegance and the beauty and all that stuff of it? Because it seems to fit you extremely well.
I do enjoy it. I did some modeling when I was younger. When I first came to LA, I did some commercials and some print work and whatnot, sort of in conjunction with theatrical acting as well. But I haven't done as much. It's sort of this change from modeling into, when you start getting more success in the industry, it changes to photo shoots and press shoots and things like that. And I do enjoy those. And I love the wardrobe and, the glamour of it all. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I'd want to be a fashion model for a living if I was, a foot taller, of course.
You're
not going to have the option. Yeah. So, but, I like the creativity of it, and I really enjoy the shoots where I have a little more creative control. it's sort of as far as what the theme of the shoot is and what kind of wardrobe we're using. And I sort of like to do a little bit of artistic direction, and sometimes can get frustrated when everything's taken care of. It's great if it's all at a high level and you just happen to love everything that's being done. But I like to have input into what's going on as well, and usually I get to have input, so it makes the experience more enjoyable. And we live in a very visual age, so even if I didn't enjoy photo shoots, it would be a necessary evil. So I'm glad that I do enjoy them, and I enjoy seeing the results, and it's really glamorous. Because today, actresses are the models, basically, for not just on the covers of most magazines, as most campaigns go, and endorsements, and different brands and clothing and jewelry and whatnot. They really utilize actresses much more than models. So it's a good time to be an actress, basically. Good time to be a photogenic actress.
Do you think that kind of fits in with your healthy lifestyle that you live?
I think so. I think I was thinking about this the other day. Like, would I live such a healthy lifestyle if I wasn't in front of the camera all the time? And I think the answer is yes. I probably, I would. I definitely would. But it certainly encourages a healthy lifestyle, knowing that the camera adds about 10 pounds, without question. Any camera, still or motion, adds about 10 pounds. And that, when your face is 30 feet across, in a close-up on the movie screen, you can see everything. So, you definitely want to live in a way that's conducive to clear skin and healthy skin. And, staying out of the sun and not drinking too much, and, just really sort of taking care of your instrument,
In terms of living healthy lifestyles and stuff, you and I have something in common. We both support this charity called Stand Up to Cancer. And and there's a very good reason for that. I lost my parents, both my mother and my father, to cancer, and you lost your mother to cancer. Can we talk about your goals for Stand Up to Cancer and the different parts that you play in it with getting the awareness out, and how can people join you in your Stand Up to Cancer campaign and things like that? Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I just actually finishing a really cool campaign for them in conjunction with Modern Luxury Hawaii, which is on the cover of Modern Luxury Hawaii in December, and was asked to partake in this kind of a celebrity contest where the celebrity with the most votes basically get, I think it was $10,000 for their favorite charity. And I'd worked a little bit with Stand Up to Cancer before, and it was a no-brainer, of course, choosing them, because my mom at the time she was still sick. And I thought, well, obviously I need to be choosing a cancer charity in honor of her. And, they're a fantastic organization. They do what no other cancer organization does, it seems, which is fostering this environment of collaboration rather than competition among all of these dream teams, the top scientists in the world, basically. They foster collaboration by putting together these dream teams of scientists, and it expedites the treatments getting to patients so much quicker than a lot of the other organizations that the cancer research involves a lot of bureaucracy, usually, just like everything does in the medical industry. But Stand Up to Cancer realizes that does not help us get a cure for cancer any sooner, and definitely does not help save the lives of the people that are currently struggling with cancer. So, they have tremendous support in the entertainment industry, which I think has helped them a lot and continues to help them a lot. And I'm really happy to be so close to the organization. It's a privilege to be able to work with them.
And this is, you said it's Modern Luxury in Hawaii?
Yeah, Modern Luxury magazine in Hawaii. It's called 4T for Hope. It was Verizon and Modern Luxury Hawaii, and they put on this contest. Basically, they take 4 celebrities, and we competed for votes to win money, and we all won money for the charity. Like, everybody won money, so it was a win-win situation. But it was a wonderful opportunity to continue to raise awareness for Stand Up to Cancer, And, my mother actually passed away in the middle of the campaign. So, there was more emotion behind it, more support that came out from everybody than ever. And it was just a really wonderful experience, wonderful thing to be a part of.
I think when I was watching your video, and everybody can go, and I encourage everybody to go and get the video off of YouTube and share it on your social medias, and such as Facebook and Twitter or whatever else. Just kind of share it out there because it really is a good message that you put out there. But there's one thing that I noticed about it because you just said your mother passed away while you're doing the campaign. To me, I kind of felt that when I was watching your campaign. It didn't seem like, or watching your video, it did not seem like it was really a scripted. It may have been scripted, I don't know, but it was like the heart, the love, the emotion, the caring that you were putting out into it was overwhelming real. And so that explains to me, when you said your mother passed away, that explains to me why you were feeling that. Okay. So
there wasn't a script. There was the camera, and I started talking, and and then we pieced together what was the best moments of it, because we couldn't put something up that was 30 minutes long. But basically I just started talking about how I felt and why we should support family cancer, and that's how that came about. So.
Okay. Well, again, I encourage everybody to go out and support Stand Up to Cancer. I think the acronym is SU2 or TC, Stand Up to Cancer.
SU2. .org.
Yeah, .org. Thanks. All right. So thank you so much for putting that out there. And again, I'm really sorry to hear about your mother.
Thank you. I'm so sorry about your parents as well.
Oh, thank you. So what about some future projects and shows and tours that you're working on? Where can people come and see you, like Comic Cons, or get their picture taken with you, autographs, stuff like that?
I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know what's coming up. I know there's Comic Con is coming up. I'm not going to be going this year. We've got some other things that I'm going to be doing during that time. But as far as in person, I can't tell you. Yeah, you can meet me at my gym, I guess. But I don't know. Okay. There's nothing going on in the next month or so. It's like a public event, but I'm definitely all over social media. Facebook is Kristina Anapau page is the official Facebook page, and Twitter handle is just Kristina Anapau. Instagram Kristina_Anapau, and the newest, my favorite platform now is a new platform called Husay. And it's just Husay, WHOSAY, Husay.com. And it's basically, it's a new platform that, celebrities are invited to, basically, by the creators of it. And we post pictures and whatnot, and you can subscribe to different celebrities' pages. And so your news feed kind of becomes like your own private People magazine. And it's available to the public now if you go to Husay.com, but they're going to launch it widespread and start publicity and, release the app for the public. I believe it's going to be sometime in July. So this is sort of like now everyone's in the know. You're ahead of the curve. Husay.com and Black Mountain. And actually publications like People and Us and whatever are starting to license the photos directly from the celebrities from Husay to the site. So it's a way for not only for celebrities to have a little more control over the images that are out there, but to release even kind of have even a bigger element of transparency and, put photos up there that paparazzi would not be able to get, them getting a delivery in their hotel room or, just like something. Right. There's all sorts of cool things up there. And I just love the format. They've teamed up with some amazing people. It's the guys over at CAA, Creative Artists Agency, who developed it. And if you log on, you'll see there's about, I think, 1,500 celebrities on it right now. And it's just like, the who's who of the industry. Like everyone's from Tom Hanks, but also, people are on it and they're posting. And it's interesting. Like Tom Hanks takes a picture, like, out his windshield as he's driving to set. Just stuff like that you're not going to get at People magazine. So their goal is to give celebrities control over the images, A, and B, to give the public a way to sort of follow their favorite celebrity in a much more intimate way. So yeah, I like I really like Husei. I think Husei is a cool thing. Since it's invitation only, it's they kind of keep out the riffraff. It's really, you'll find all your favorite celebrities on there, and it's them because there's a whole huge verification process and whatnot that comes with the invitation. So it's pretty cool. It's impossible to have a fake Husei site. It's being someone in the public eye. I'll never have to worry about somebody putting up a fake Husei site. So it's cool.
Well, cool.
For fans, it makes it much easier.
Well, I think we'll have to all go check that out.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. So now we're all in the know, people. We're all up on the tech thing now. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got Instagram, we got Husei. You're on IMDb.
Husei. If people from Husei are listening, you can send my check to my agent for that promotion.
Yeah, that's right. Public service announcement right there. Okay. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like for everyone to know about you? Your favorite joke, part of your life, just anything in general you would like for all your fans to know?
Well, I think all the jokes I know are too dirty to say, so I'm not going to say a joke.
Okay.
I guess the thing that I would like people to think about in the world, something that I try to think about and hold my attention on, is the idea, and this is kind of in alignment with Morella and light and things we talk about in that arena, but the idea that everything that we see in our reality around us is really a reflection of what we're carrying inside, and that, there's been a whole bunch of great thinkers and speakers who have said, saying, be the change you want to see in the world and all of that kind of thing, but it's really a much more sort of, it's a nuts and bolts kind of physical phenomena. It's not some sort of esoteric, idea or philosophy. It really is the way this reality operates. If you want to see something in your movie, say it's a movie that's happening around you, and you want to see something in your movie, you make it happen inside first, and you'll see it reflected. It might take some practice and some focus, and you have to really work hard at combating all the negativity that is going on inside of you, because that's what most people are seeing in their reality, in their movie. And if you can sort of become more conscious of that and aware of that and get rid of that and sort of get in alignment with what you do want to see and hold your attention on that instead, I think not only would everyone's lives be a lot smoother and people would be able to sort of live the lives they want to live deep down inside, but that the world is going to be a lot smoother of a place and a lot more positive of a place and a lot more peaceful of a place.
Nice. I like that. That's very beautiful. Well said.
Thank you.
Well, Kristina, on behalf of everyone here at the show, all the editors and producers and people who work behind the scenes, all the fans around the world who listen and watch the show, all the stations who carry us, thank you so much for being on our show. It's been a complete honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be able to talk with you and chat with you about your life, all the stuff that you've gone through, all the great stuff that I foresee, kind of on that spiritual side of it. I may not have a white light inside of me or on my fingertip, but I kind of foresee you being much grander and bigger in all the stuff that you do just because of who you are. And it just shows your aura is just shining brightly. So thank you so much for being on the show and sharing time with you or with us. And if you ever get a chance to, you have a new movie coming out or a new TV show, want to talk about that anger management thing again some more, then we'd love to have you back.
I'll definitely keep you posted. Thank you so much for having me on today. It has been such a pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you. You have a very beautiful night and week ahead.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Please welcome our musical guest, Kristina Anapau, and the 3Gs group singing Shut Up and Drive.
Now I'm sitting in your ride, so baby, just take
And now, a word from our sponsors.
At Taylor Gifts, we do customized monogramming and embroidery. We can monogram anything from a simple one name on a bib for a baby to a customized logo on a company shirt. We can make gifts for your wedding entourage and gifts for your friends. Label your children's items for school and put names on jerseys for sports. If you have items of your own you want them monogrammed and embroidered, we can do that. Tailor Gifts are sewn with high-quality thread on a professional embroidery machine. So go to the website www.tailorgifts.net, call 251-391-4354, email sales@tailorgifts.net, visit us at ETSY, and Facebook us. We are ready for your orders.
Welcome to WROM, Realms of Music Radio and Social Network. We support independent artists and talk shows, hosting a large discussion forum and an artist gallery. We also have a large social network combining the best of Facebook and MySpace into one. So make sure you submit your music to us and create a profile to promote yourself today. That's realmsofmusic.com, the best of music radio.
The Ghost Tales Television Network, GTN. GTN is designed to give the paranormal TV and filmmaking community the opportunity to showcase their talents and creations. If you believe you have what it takes to create your very own TV show and or short film and you would like the opportunity to showcase your creations, you may contact us at ghosttalestv@gmail.com or call 901-377-7166 for more details. Make sure you visit ghosttalestv.com. GTN, America's Paranormal Superstation.
Jackalope 105 FM on jackaloperadio.com. Your alternative to the grind of internet and FM radio. When we say diversity in programming, we mean it. Lots of stations brag, throw out a hype, and pad their numbers. Well, we don't. Accept no limitations. When you truly want awesome 24-hour radio, tune in to Jackalope and rock your routine. Jackalope 105 FM on jackaloperadio.com. Thank you for listening to the show. I'm your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. Hope you have an amazing weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time when another story begins. Until then, love and light.